Hey everybody, welcome to Four Finger Discount, where today we are joined by the most local of all comedians here in Geelong. It's Dave Thornton. How are you doing, sir?
You guys, I can't believe, so we're, all three of us are from Geelong, is that right? Is this the Simpsons effect that the entire city is enamoured with the Simpsons?
Pretty much the case. We are the Springfield of Australia. Yeah, so, listeners of this particular episode should brace themselves for a whole bunch of local references. Going to be talking about Paco, going to be name dropping the lyric and the Eureka, and bemoaning the loss of Texas Burgers and Speaky Surf Shop.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry, Ballarat, you just found out you're Shelbyville. I am so sorry.
By the way, fun fact, you're a Geelong Cats fan, right?
This is true as well, yes.
His dad is the Bobby Davis.
Oh, wow.
Not embarrassing fact, because it's, yeah.
Oh, God, how cool is that?
It's not bad. Unfortunately, I'm not wearing my Bobby's son t-shirt today. Yeah, it's in the wash. Well, all three of them are in the wash. But Bob Davis, yes, was indeed my father.
Oh, how good's that, mate? You wouldn't have had to pay for a meal at Smorgies. That is really impressive.
Well, I didn't because I was dined and dashed, but...
Trying to explain the idea of Smorgies to anyone that didn't live in Geelong. I think they had one in Melbourne maybe, but I don't think they had the seal. We had Salty the Seal and King Neptune, these animatronic things that would sing songs every half an hour. They had a video package of Gary Ablett Sr. playing football. It's madness.
Yeah, for anyone listening, and I know that your podcast goes international, Smorgies is an all-you-can-eat bar, kind of like a sizzler, but it was at the end of a pier because Geelong's on a bay. So it had this unbelievable view just with Bay Marie's full of fried food and shit food, combined with, as you said, an animatronic seal that would do songs about our Australian rules footballer favourite player in Geelong, Gary Ablett. So it was really a melting pot of regrettable decisions. It really was.
My sister works at this place because her place of business, the guy that owned it, he found the actual Salty the Seal. They found it in this shed. And he had it in the office as a display, and people were coming from all over Geelong to get a photo of the Salty the Seal. It was hilarious.
Has he still got it?
No. So the guy that owned it, this guy found it in a shed at there used to be this zoo in Barwon Heads here in Geelong. Again, local reference. And they were holding it hostage in this shed. He bought it off them. So now he owns Salty the Seal and he rents it out to businesses. So where my sister works doesn't have it anymore, but you can actually rent a Salty now. Rent Salty the Seal. Have them at your work party.
That's the gift that keeps on giving. That is incredible. I now know what's going to happen at my next birthday.
Just love that discovery. It sounds like Bobo.
Yeah, I was going to say. And you mentioned things that keep on giving. This episode, Rosebud, I revisited it again last night for this review. Holy shit, I forgot how many pivotal moments, like classic moments from the Simpsons, were in this one. You've got Happy Birthday, Mr. Smithers. You've got the Ramones. You've got 64 slices of American cheese. You've got 2 + 2 is 4. You've got the Yes sitcom. So many moments in one episode. It's incredible. People always call this one arguably the greatest of all time, and it's hard to argue that. It's got to be at least top 3.
It's also funny that it was only when I got older that I realised it was the Citizen Kane ripoff. That was the parody. And I'm yet to see Citizen Kane. I was like, oh, yeah, right. And then I'm like, oh, I kind of got the gist of it. I get it.
Yeah, so, how many of us growing up watching The Simpsons and knowing they were parodying things, like the shitting is one I always fall back on. You feel like, I don't need to see the real thing. I've seen the Simpsons version. I get the gist, as you said.
Absolutely. I mean, I was bred on Warner Brothers cartoons, and they would have references from the 30s and 40s. And I never went, I kind of then made the connection. But it's not like I went back and thought, all right, they've mentioned Hitler. I might as well just see what World War II was about.
Guy?
Yeah, it's fine. And I love that about The Simpsons. There were so many references I didn't quite understand when I was young, but it's still funny.
I just love that people are going to watch Citizen Kane sort of widely regarded as, the apex of cinematic achievement. And then just go, Rosebud was better. The Simpsons actually nailed it. Piss off Orson Welles.
So the thing is, because Guy is the movie buff here, he knows all about movies, and he'll explain to us how it's a parody. But in the film, he was just explaining to me before we hit record that in Citizen Kane, it's not a bear Bobo, it's a sled, correct?
It is
named Rosebud, which is. Did you even know that much, Dave?
I did know it was the sled in a very. I'm not Gen Z, but this feels like a very Gen Z thing to say, which is I saw a YouTube clip about Citizen Kane, so it was about the 10-minute synopsis of the movie, and I'm like, that'll do.
Yeah.
You got the spark notes.
I get it, guys.
It's funny. I'll put my nerd hat on for a second, though, because, I rewatched Citizen Kane not long ago, and you think, oh, God, it's going to be fucking dusty homework from the 30s or whenever. And you look at it, it's like, this is like avant-garde or something. It's really entertaining. It's really sort of it feels very, very modern. And when it's something like all these prestigious sort of film buffs and film publications saying, "Oh my goodness, the absolute a cinematic pinnacle" or something like that. Oh god, this is going to be some 3-hour Vietnamese tone poem that you see at the Melbourne Film Festival, and you watch it like, holy shit, this is really funny, and this is really innovative in its visuals and all shit. Okay, that's nerd hat removed. Bobby T-shirt put back
That's good to know, Guy. But I do want to know: was there a George Burns reference throughout it? Was there, by any chance, was it him in some short shorts at about 8 years old?
I get the feeling even in 1993 they were sort of pushing it. I don't know if the target audience is actually going to get this all that much. They gave themselves a little bit of an escape hatch when they're saying, "Don't worry, this is going to be hilarious when I'm an old man."
But I don't think the writer of this episode, John Swartzwelder, one of his best episodes, I don't think he cared either, if you got it or not. Sometimes he just put gags in that made him laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
yeah.
I mean, I do love that it's Monty Burns' younger brother. Like at the time, George Burns was 99, and so Monty's his older brother.
Do you remember watching Rosebud for the first time and seeing things like the George Burns and having absolutely no fucking idea what was going on? And you just sort of went with it, didn't you? It was like, oh well, it's just a bit that I understand. I'm sure I'll get it one day.
I did get George Burns. I mean, my upbringing in Geelong was very much, he'd just watch TV on a weekend. My parents went off and just got drunk with their friends, I think. And so back then in Australia in the 90s, on a weekend, you would get a lot of old films. I mean, now it's probably been demoted to those off-Broadway channels, the Channel Go and 7 Flicks and all these other...
9 Gem.
Yeah, exactly. But back in the day, you would routinely get, Abbott and Costello films, you would get films from the 50s. And so George Burns was kind of around. I kind of understood that. I don't understand the Sheriff Lobo reference, and I still don't in my mid-40s, but I'm happy to go with it.
Do you want to explain to it what it is?
Yeah, Sheriff Lobo was a pivotal supporting character on the Dukes of Hazzard. So beloved, in fact, that he did get his own spin-off.
That
I think lasted approximately 3 episodes. It was like, we like Lobo in small doses. We don't know in half-hour bites.
Yeah, I was like, Sheriff Lobo. I did watch the Dukes of Hazzard, but that was, geez, God, what is that, early 80s? That'd be 70s.
I reckon it's late 70s, early 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a better time, Dave. You could drive around with a Union Confederate flag on the top of your car and not get cancelled.
Oh, mate, you could leave the windows open and just slide in and out without opening the doors. That was the great thing. It never got stolen, despite the fact the windows were open the whole time.
Did you have to even wear seatbelts in those days?
Please, Dando, are you kidding me? What are you talking about?
Luke Duke and Bo Duke did not.
Yeah, that was a sign of weakness. You'd rather go through the front windshield than wear those namby-pamby seatbelts.
It's like that Troy McClure video, Alice through the windshield glass. Yeah. But we're here. Let's plug your upcoming tour. So Dave Thornton, local comedian, you got your tour more or less. Let's talk about it. I think it starts early March, correct? In Adelaide?
That is right, guys. I'm recording of this, in a couple of weeks. I'll be starting in Adelaide and then going to all the major cities. We've got Melbourne here for the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. I got Sydney, Brisbane, Perth. I'm also in Newcastle and Gold Coast. So, the tour all kicks off and brand new show. So if people want to come down, that'd be great. And the last show that I did, actually, it's on YouTube right now. I did film it. It kind of ties into what we're talking about because the last show was called Nothing's Unpossible, which is a tip of the cap to Ralph Wiggum when he gets called up on stage by Principal Skinner, who said his favourite English. And he goes, "Me fail English? That's impossible." So that's how much the Simpsons are imbued in my life.
And we keep referring to Dave as a local comedian because, we're very proud of, a Geelong.
If anyone makes it from Geelong, you're proud of it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're stuck with it for life. But no, Dave is a national and international comedian. Yeah, I mean, you've performed at stages all over the world, yeah?
Yes, not as much now. My little handbrake children, they seem to stop the international touring, but now touring all throughout Australia. And, I actually live in Melbourne now. I live up in Brunswick, but I still head down to Geelong all the time. And as we said, go for the Cats.
So you named your special Unpossible. Does The Simpsons still have an impact on the comedy scene now and on comedians of today?
I think it's really an age thing. I mean, I still use the odd Simpsons reference. I mean, I did it to my kids only recently. Actually, this is why I love that we're doing this podcast, because I strangely, about October last year, started playing Simpsons reruns to my kids. Just because I think I said to one of them, look, I was born a snake handler. I'm going to die a snake handler. And my kids went, sorry, what? And they're like, oh, that's Mo Sizlak. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then we started watching The Simpsons. So it's really strange that now, a couple of months later, when I haven't really been watching The Simpsons for years, I got really back into it. And I got the eerie feeling with Simpsons references, to answer your question, Dando, probably people of my age, you can be in a green room and stand up and drop a reference like everything's coming up Millhouse and then watch a couple of eyes lighten up. But anyone I'm trying to think, maybe under 30, it's kind of lost. Like Family Guy and South Park got them.
God, you're making me feel old. Under 30.
I know.
But it really is that kind of secret handshake, though. I mean, if you are dropping certain lines, I mean, not even for comic effect, but it just becomes part of your everyday vocab. I mean, I don't know how many times we've talked about how, you've got yours, I've got mine. I mean, I'll go to the supermarket or whatever, and you check if you're actually in the right parking spot. You look out, I'm in the lines. You don't like it, go tell your mama.
Or you see a variant of a thing and you're like, limited.
No, exactly, yeah.
It's even these obscure references. Like, we've got a lot of people in stand-up, and I can understand it. It's a broad church. And we were just having this conversation about like ADHD, which is a big thing now, and it's great that people are getting diagnosed. But of course, mates, they have to take sometimes whatever medicine that they're on. And I always reference that thing from the episode where they go into the fortune teller goes into the future and tells Lisa what her first almost marriage was like. And when she goes and visits the in-laws over in England, they've got that uncle in the corner and he goes, I get me brain medicine from the National Health.
I thought you were going to go with give her this, and then these. Oh, thanks, doctor. Oh, I'm not a doctor.
See, this is all great.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that, people of a certain generation, shall we say? Because I mean, looking at Dave here, I mean,
you look 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, he's got the fresh-faced looks of a 35-year-old, even though he's closer to Guy Davis' age, which makes him a damn fossil. Watching The Simpsons on the regular as a young person, I mean, it kind of forms your comic sensibility in a way, or at least teaches you the fundamentals of comedy in terms of comic delivery, in terms of timing, all that kind of stuff. Am I at all correct in thinking that?
No, guys, spot on. It's knowing that I was coming on this podcast has made me reflect upon The Simpsons in my life. And I almost couldn't be more on the crosshairs in that you guys would know better than me. I think it aired in 91, if that's right, in Australia. And then
I started about 91, yeah.
Yeah, and I was 11 years old. And so it focused on Bart, and then that got me in. And remember those early seasons, they're selling merch and they're really angling it towards kids, and all those T-shirts of Bart saying "Don't have a cow, man" or whatever it was. And so it got me in. But then it matured as I matured. So by the time we're getting to season 4, season 5, which is where Rosebud's on, I'm 15, 16. And so you're just locked in as a young man. Like, it's just, you're watching it. I was that kid at school all week that's quoting it as the arts teachers, like, you just need to shut up right now.
You just need to take your brain medication.
Yeah. Ha ha. And she goes, no, that's enough. That is enough. And and so rewatching it now as an adult, and especially after becoming a comic, you're right that it is just writing 101. Like, it's so punchy. It comes out of the gates punchy. There are times when they're constantly undercutting a trope and making, and just even the subtlety of the jokes. I mean, in this Rosebud, which happens through a lot of episodes, that storyline of just Smithers being smitten with Monty Burns. And when I was even in my mid-teens, and it could maybe speak to my naivety, I was like, oh yeah, Smithers just really loves his boss. And it's like, when I'm now in my mid-40s, I'm like, oh, right. Like, this
he loves his boss. Yeah.
But they didn't. But most of the time, they didn't do it in a way where he was a punchline as a result. It was just, you could watch this very easily, gullible as a kid, and go, oh, he just likes Mr. Burns a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that made me laugh in this episode is you talked about 64 slices of American cheese. You know when they first tried to get into the house?
Yeah.
And they slide down the rope and meet in the middle because there's just not enough. It doesn't go downhill, so they're just hanging there. When Burns hits Smithers, you hear him go, oh. It's this beautiful noise of a man who's like, oh, well, things didn't work out to plan, but they still have worked out well.
It's almost like Smithers planned it to happen this way, yes.
But yeah, Harry Shearer's is having an absolute field day.
Yeah.
With the line readings in this episode, by the way. I mean, just, he's the spin he puts on some of this stuff is like, tug on my fur. It's like, holy moly.
Leave the costume. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. That a little bit at the end and leave the costume. Oh, made me laugh.
So what are your earliest memories of The Simpsons? You're saying you're 11. Bartomania was it running wild in Australia? I know it was huge in the States, but I feel like by the time Australia got The Simpsons, the whole Bartomania fad had kind of already died down in the US.
It really did for when I was growing up, like at the age that I was, all the kids, this is grade 5, grade 6 in primary school, and all the kids were obsessed with it. I mean, if you think, I spoke about Warner Brothers cartoons earlier, that was the only adult-ish cartoon I'd ever seen in my life. Like some of the jokes were kind of skewed to adults, but that's it. Everything else was children's cartoons. And my dad, I do remember when I first watched The Simpsons, was like, what's this? It's badly drawn cartoons. It's shit. I don't want to know about it. And then, I mean, my father was also he was a bald, kind of heavy set guy. And I think after a while.
Australian in the 80s.
Yeah. And Homer Simpson.
Sounds like an absolute legend.
No, he was. And,
I love this guy.
Yeah. And so, to no one's surprise, Homer Simpson and George Costanza became his pin-up boys. And then, it morphed into that. So, I mean, it was pretty big, I think. And again, like when it was early, it was targeted squarely at a kid my age. And then it was fascinating to watch this thing turn into adult entertainment.
Did you watch it once it went beyond being like the show to watch for kids? Because I remember I was born in 88, so I was about 6 or 7 when it was really at its peak. And then sort of South Park came around, and that was sort of the more risque comedy animated show. And my friends sort of gravitated towards that and Family Guy. But I still stuck with The Simpsons for the most part, where I feel like I was sort of the only one left of my friends watching The Simpsons. Did you ever get to that point, or did you jump ship to South Park and those likes as well?
South Park was great, and it still is great. I think South Park, funnily enough, I talk about The Simpsons maturing into, I think, very clever comedy. I think South Park has kind of done the same, but over a longer period. Like when it first started, it was pretty blunt force comedy. Like it was kids being pretty crook, and therein lies the juxtaposition of these kids who were just foul-mouthed, and Eric Cartman was just causing trouble all the time, and it was funny, but it was a fairly blunt force instrument. When I thought Simpsons at the same time was a much more nuanced comedy. And I mean, I know we're getting into the weeds here, but I do think South Park of late has become political commentary, and because of its quick turnaround is able to lampoon things that are happening in the press and the zeitgeist. I think that's its real strength. But at the time, when it first came out, it was funny, but it was like because of its shock. That's what made it funny. When I stuck with The Simpsons, I liked them both, but I just always thought with The Simpsons, it's like this masterclass in writing. I couldn't have, I don't think I would have consciously told you this when I was 16, but I just found it so, like we just talked about Rosebud. I didn't know it was a parody of Citizen Kane, but you kind of knew there was all these layers happening.
Yeah, they're hitting different parts of the funny bone, I reckon. And I mean, and you can't imagine South Park for all its virtues going deep on a Citizen Kane homage / ripoff. Yeah, so I mean, they're just they're approaching it in different ways.
Next time you join us, you'll have to come onto our South Park podcast. We're currently in season 9 of the show. We just did Trapped in the Closet with Tom Cruise and John Travolta.
That's awesome. I mean, it's funny how I said like maybe highbrow. I'm not sure if that's the right way to describe it. When in the same episode where they parodied Citizen Kane, there's also that brilliant scene when when Bobo gets caught in the ice. And then they make it to a Pooh's Quickie Mart, and the guys are like, "You got to find a better way to make ice. We lost 3 men on this last expedition. You got a better way
of making ice."
And you just go, "That's a really funny, dumb joke."
Are you a big? So why did you choose Rosebud? Are you a big fan of the Mr. Burns character, or was it just the fact that there's so much crammed into this? Well, what was it that made you want to review Rosebud today?
Yeah. Both. I think it's a really well-written episode, I should say. And then, yes, I find Monty Burns hilarious because there's old jokes which don't stop getting funny. And I mean, Grandpa Simpson can wheel those out a lot. But there's also this And I think it's almost prescient now watching it because we've seen the rise of all these tech billionaires and all these people who are just monstrously rich, especially in America. And it's this overriding capitalism of people that just want to be rich and do not care about anything else but getting richer. And Monty Burns' whole storyline is always him. But there's that beautiful part when he doesn't want to pay Homer at all for the bear.
That's for cash.
And the roof just rips open and all that gold and things just drop on his head. He says, as you can see, this place is falling apart. And it's like, it just makes you laugh because like this guy is so old and so rich and has no conscience whatsoever.
Well, you were saying to me off the air that the sort of the theme of this episode is kind of like money can't buy happiness, isn't it, really?
Well, essentially, yeah. I mean, he's got all the money in the world, but he's longing for this just bedraggled old bear that he just, can't get a hold. Well, he can't get out of his head, but also can't get a hold of.
He's also keeping it secret as well, which I thought was interesting.
Well, yeah. I mean, he doesn't want to show any weakness, particularly particularly to Smithers, I don't think. But
as The Simpsons evolved, the Mr. Burns character did show weakness a lot more. But in these earlier seasons, he was the scary billionaire tyrant.
Yes, and then just made like rich people decisions, which is fun. Like he just couldn't give a shit. I mean, I still say it now, and anytime someone who makes a lot of money, I'm like, oh yeah, they have to buy another ivory back scratcher, which is just a direct reference to him.
Yeah, but at the very end, I mean, everyone's sort of angling for a payday. And well, certainly the Simpsons family's angling for a payday. They think, we can get a bit of cash out of by handing over this bear to Burns.
As you would, right? But if you found this old billionaire's teddy bear, you'd try and milk it for all you could, right? I mean, fuck being honest and good. If he wouldn't be the other way around, so get what you can out of him. I think they should have tried to rip him off for money.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the fact that they don't get anything at the very end is, it's sort of it underlines the theme of the episode, which is, that if they'd got money for it, it would have, sort of negated that, I think.
It could have just been a thing, and I know they're so good at using tropes and then going the other direction. I mean, it would be so saccharine sweet, or like if everyone, he got his bear, they got their money, and they're like, and it's all fine. And I liked it at the end, where they're like, is this a good ending or a bad ending? It's an ending. That'll do. Like,
and it is.
Which is nice,
Did you have any favourite moments from the episode?
I did like the ice thing, as I mentioned before, just made me chuckle. And just even that, when he goes, if you know a better way to get some ice, I'd like to hear it. And I like it how they just go back to each other like, oh, he's got to say it. Like they're just stumped. I do love, and it's again, when you watch it and rewatch it, all these little asides pop up that just make you laugh, where Smithers is interrogating Mr. Burns after the party and going, I don't understand. Look at everything that you've got. And he says, you've got Arthur's Excalibur, you've got the only nude photo of Mark Twain, and you've got the first draft of the Constitution with the word suckers in it.
That's one of my favorites as well. That just strikes me as a real sort of Generation X joke. I'm trying to figure out exactly why that feels so 1993, but it really does.
Yeah, it really does. And I guess, again, I mean, maybe with Trump and everything and how crazy America's going, it feels like, that's quite funny now. People in charge would write suckers in the Constitution and be like, we got away with it.
For me, I've always loved Homer's reaction to the sitcom. So you got the, what, already? Yes, right? Everyone remembers the yes, right? But I love more Homer going, because Lisa says, is it just me or is TV getting worse or something along those lines? And he goes, no, I think it's still the same. He's like, watch out, Smithers! And he hears something smashing his head. I love this show.
Which is funny in that it's a TV show that had no regard for TV.
Yeah.
It's constantly saying this is, like Homer just sits in front of it. And it's like this, it just makes him docile. He just sits there. He wastes his life away, which kind of has parallels now. When I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this is, if it was made now, it'd be phones. Like we're just sitting in front of a phone, we're scrolling, we're doing all those things. And I just loved it that it wasn't like other TV shows would never poke fun at TV because they're on it. Executives would say this isn't happening. But I just really like that. You're right. That Homer's just, whoever is there, be it Smithers or Monty Burns, he's like, that's still good.
Watch out, Smithers!
I just love that though from the beginning when it's chock-a-block with all kinds of humour. I mean, you've got highbrow humour, you've got lowbrow humour, you've got perfect use of a guest artist, throwaway non sequitur gags. I mean, not necessarily non sequitur. I mean, got that shot of the milk cartons going past. I always found it very weird that they would have pictures of missing children on milk cartons. But that's America for you. But the poor old Millhouse was clearly missing. It's just Bobo, slapping up stickers of him. Poor old Millhouse is just thrown to the side.
Or Homer saying that Flanders smells like manure. He's cancelling his dinner party, things like that. Yeah.
But even sometimes the darker jokes, like when he said, "Oh, what do you think you was Mr. Burns say, oh, maybe you're trying to enjoy beer, will you? Well, I've stopped every beer truck from coming into Springfield." And then Barney answers the door with a cocked pistol and says, "Homer." He slams the door on him and you hear the gun go off and a woman's shrill scream.
Yeah, police sirens. Uh-oh. The thing is, though, that was cut out of TV. So when I used to watch that as a kid, this episode, that scene and the scene with Homer in the box, like the empty cardboard box, those two scenes of the boxes were edited for time. I feel like the Barney with the gun was edited because of the violence, but also what they edited out was, at the end of the birthday party when a riot breaks out and they start beating everybody up, that was cut out as well. So I remember watching this for the first time on Foxtel, because Foxtel, pay TV in Australia, when they used to air The Simpsons back in the 90s, they would play the full versions. And I remember seeing that for the first time. And it was like a DiCaprio moment of, hey, that's new,
I mean, Dando, that's quite funny as well, where he said this party's over, and then they've got like, what do you call them? Like, not squad.
The riot police.
Police. He just forces them upon the guests.
Yeah.
Like, what a way to finish. I mean, that little bit after the Ramones play, it's so funny when Monty Burns goes, had the Rolling Stones killed, and then Smithers says, but do it.
Do as I say. I want to touch on the Ramones bit, because I think that's arguably the greatest guest cameo, not guest appearance, but guest cameo of all time. You've got the fact that it's the Ramones. You've got the great directing of, there's a real cool pan shot as the song's beginning where it passes past Joey. The song itself is fantastic, but again, the button at the end of have the Rolling Stones killed, do as I say, but also when they say go to hell, you old bastard, and the look on Burns' face as the curtain is closing on him, it's just, there is so much packed into like 15 seconds. It's unbelievable.
And each Ramone gets their moment to shine. They each get a line. It's like, hey, I think they really liked us.
Also, speaking of songs, my other favorite bit was, and it's something that wouldn't really work now because no one does it anymore, but it's the Big Mac song that Homer sings in the recording studio. Like that was such a pivotal part of like my childhood. So, can you do the Big Mac song? But no one does it anymore. It's just da 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 da. That's all people know McDonald's for now. It's not the Big Mac song, but I think that's such a great side gag.
Yeah, and then he gets to the end and Homer, you're drilling on the mic again.
Well, again, it's hats on hats on hats, because it's like Homer's saying, oh, I can get what I always want in my own recording studio. It's like, okay, it's a gag in itself. And then he's singing the McDonald's theme song. And he's drooling on the mic. It's like, oh, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes. Let's answer some trivia questions. I'll ask you a question here, Dave. Let's see if you can answer it for us.
Okay.
What did Marge get Mr. Burns for his birthday?
A dustbuster.
Yes.
The look on her face of, I thought I'd nailed it. And
you can imagine Marge thought that would be a great gift, because it's obviously something that she would use all the time. It's very practical.
Absolutely.
As a kid, though, you always had those relatives that bought you practical gifts. And it's like, I didn't fucking want pencils. I wanted a Street Sharks toy. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but Dando, this is the thing. I live in Brunswick, and for anyone overseas who's listening, this is very much with the very left of centre. It's the very, I think Portland's like this in America.
The hipster central.
Yeah, exactly. So the parents at parties very much do this. They're like, oh, I've bought your child a book that they may enjoy. And it's always, you look on the kids' faces like, are you shitting me? And the parents are like, wonderful, you're improving their education, knowing that the children will never touch that book.
You might as well have got them socks.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm unleashing your child's creativity.
But you may as well be like, does your kid watch Bluey at all?
Yes.
You know how Lucky's dad's like the cool dad at parties? You need to be Lucky's dad. You need to be the guy that just gives the cool fucking toy present. And everyone's like, they'll always invite your kids to parties because they know they're going to get a good present.
Guys, here's some heaps normal. It's non-alcoholic beer, but so it's fine. Don't worry. Your 8-year-old can have it. Don't worry about it. As a side note, though, with that dustbuster, I did like it where as it pans across, there's a unicorn just throwing down on some food.
I mean, Australia even gets a reference in that scene there. We're all holding up candles in the name of Mr. Burns.
Yeah, well done us.
Just have to turn your head to see it. Oh, no time.
I shall ask a trivia question.
Do it.
According to the newspaper, Mr. Burns credits his long life to Satan. He's handing over a check to the Prince of Darkness for how much?
Ooh, I know.
Oh, I didn't, because I did notice I clocked the headline, which made me laugh. Is there a 5 in it? 5 million?
Dr. Evil says this as part of one of his famous quotes.
Oh, really?
I think it's Dr. Evil. $1 billion? $1 billion. Did he say that?
It initially says $1 million. Yeah.
It was $1 million.
It doesn't need $1 billion. By the way, just great animation, just a great look on Satan's face there. He's so happy.
Yeah. My next question for you is, how many channels does Springfield have?
78.
Well done. Yes.
Wow.
I remember that stood out because even watching it again, we never got to that point in Australia, did we? We now have streaming services and things, but it never got to that point where, like friends would go to America and be like, they've got so many channels, and we still had 5.
Oh, we had Foxtel. Basically, that's what, if you want to get more chance, you had Fox. Did you have Foxtel as a kid?
No, my parents were never talking out for Foxtel. And and so it was always that. It was just, you went through, you were lucky to get SBS, to be honest.
Yeah, Channel 31.
Yeah.
But it's something we always talk about when we're talking with guests usually. It's that having that limited amount of options meant that you had to watch all that stuff that you were talking about earlier, Dave. You'd be watching George Burns movies or Abbott and Costello stuff. And as a result, you got this widely curated sort of diet of entertainment and culture. And, your sensibilities got shaped as a result of that. I mean, you watched a lot of good stuff. You also watched a lot of crap, and you were able to discern the good stuff from the bad.
Yeah, guys, a really interesting point too. And we all had the same touchstones. It's funny now, my kids, because you can skip an intro to anything online and streaming. And when we watch Wizard of Oz with them, and of course, those old movies, the credits are at the start. It's 3 minutes of just acknowledging the people who put this amazing motion picture together. And they're looking at me like, what the fuck is this?
Push the middle button. Push the middle button.
Are you shitting me? And then it was only last night, actually, that I was singing the 80s sitcom tunes and then watching my wife as I'm like, because I'd remember them all, and then I'd start and she'd go, oh, yeah, and then she'd jump in as we all start singing the Family Ties theme song or whatever the hell it was, and you just don't have that anymore. Like, there are certain things that pierce through, but not necessarily.
I say to my shame that some 40 years on, I can still sing the theme to Growing Pains. Show me that smile again.
I put Space Jam on for my son. He had a couple of mates over on Saturday night. And it was interesting because we're talking about the skip intro, right? And my son loves Space Jam, one of his favorite movies. And during the opening credits of Space Jam, there's fucking shots of MJ doing slam dunks, Space Jam, the song's playing, it's great. And one kid's just like, when's the movie start? When's the movie start? I'm like, kid, are your eyes working? Why would you want to skip this? But it's just that mentality of now, the credits, that means we need to skip this part. It's just sort of second nature to so many kids now. You see those credits and it means quick, skip. This isn't anything we have to watch.
Yeah, and I've now gotten to the point where I'm sure I'm not on the level of you guys, but I now get into movies and things, and quite often, and even when I'm watching now, especially Australian content, because I might know some of the people who are involved, where now I want to watch the end credits. And the streaming service is like, right, we'll move on. I'm like, no. I do want to know. My mate's a grip over in LA. I just want to see if he was involved in this film.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like you're playing PlayStation, trying to find the right button to get to that little box up in the right-hand corner. It's like, no, I want to watch the credits. By the way, sorry, I wasn't laughing at Dana, but I was laughing at the fact that the kid who wanted to, skip the opening credits
Jam.
basically sounds like a Teamster from New York. Why are we watching this?
He was so angry. He's like, will you skip this, please? When's the movie start? I'm like, this is the movie, kid.
Who's running this show? What are we doing?
But we just were talking to you off air. Just before we recorded this, we spoke to Matt Selman from The Simpsons. And this year, they have cut out couch gags. The couch gags just don't exist anymore. So they can cram in more, and the opening intro, so they can cram in more storytelling, per se. But also, there's the mentality of how many people actually watch the intro anymore. Like when you pick up Disney Plus, we just go skip intro. And when you click skip intro on The Simpsons, it skips the couch gag. So it's like, is there a point of even having couch gags anymore?
Isn't that funny? Because, the couch gag was seminal because
it was part of the show. Yeah.
Because the intro had never been changed before. You would just give in to the fact that you're right. Like, Growing Pains is going, right, we'll just sit through the song. This is fine. This is what happens. And then we'll start. And then to have something different happen, you're like, wow, they're cramming entertainment in everywhere.
I feel like a bit of old. I knew I was getting old. My son started watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because I loved that show when I was a kid. And I remember, I was getting dinner ready and he skipped the intro. And I grabbed the remote from his hand and I rewound it. And he goes, what are you doing? I said, you will listen to this theme song because it's part of the show. And ever since then, it's almost like he's afraid to skip intros.
And then he slapped you and said, keep that song out your fucking mouth. I have a trivia question for Dave.
Yeah, one more question and we'll get into our review.
When Burns and Smithers are attempting to burgle the Simpson house, they say, how long in and out?
18 seconds.
Holy shit,
get it?
Dave Thornton.
Even I didn't get that.
Whoa.
Yeah, because again, I watched it and it made me laugh when he says, because firstly, Flanders pokes his head up from the roof. It's a very Flanders, I can't remember what he says, but something like, what can I do you for? Like, stupid. That these men are dressed in all black in the middle of the night. And he's like, oh yeah, just some friends. And then when he says in and out in 18 seconds, and as I mentioned earlier, that Ben Smith is enjoying their bodies smashing together.
Also love too, it's great sound editing in that part because they didn't just have Flanders go thud. It's thud, 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 like he's falling down a ladder.
Yeah.
Like it's not a good fall for Flanders there. But let's get into our review, shall we, of Rosebud. So the original air date of this episode was October 21st, 1993. Now we do a bit here on the show where we talk about the top 3 films of the US box office when this episode aired. So number 3 was Cool Runnings. Number 2 was Beverly Hillbillies. Remember that TV adaptation?
Yes.
And number 1 was one of your favorites, Demolition Man.
Holy moly, Stallone and Snipes together at last.
Please. Well, that was very seminal in the 90s because it was Wesley Snipes' haircut that led to Dennis Rodman bleaching his hair blonde. He saw Wesley Snipes doing it.
Did it really?
Yeah, he was like, this is cool. And that's why this is the most 90s conversation I've had in a very long time.
It's good, right?
You're right, to be honest.
Guy always brings up there's a bit in Demolition Man that would never fly today. Do you know the bit we're talking about where he... We won't say what he says, but he sees an Asian guy. Have you seen...
I haven't seen Demolition Man in a long time.
Oh.
Well, in the far-flung future of Demolition Man, people are basically, there's a very Asian influence in the way people are dressing. People are sort of walking around in kimonos a lot and, oh, look, okay, fine, I'll pull the ripcord on this one. But yeah, Wesley Snipes walks past, some people are dressed in kimonos who may actually be Asian, basically says to them, ching chong, ching chong.
And he just says that.
Wesley... What the fuck?
And apparently wasn't that improvised? Like
I think so.
It wasn't in the script, and they left it in the movie. Welcome to 1993.
Having said that, Wesley Snipes is the villain of Demolition Man. Do not do this at home, kids.
Yeah, it helps.
Well, it's one thing we always say in our South Park podcast is people always say, people who don't like South Park say, oh, it's just crude, it's this, that, and the other. I can't believe they're doing this, they're doing that. But it's look at which characters are doing this and which characters are saying this. They are the bad guys. The whole point is it is bad to be doing these things. It is bad to be saying these things. That's the whole point.
Exactly. I mean, you get a lot of this in stand-up where people go, they said something on stage. And it's like, yeah, they're not happy with it. Like, you still do have to point out. Like, if someone's yelled, a homophobic slur at you and you say this person yelled at me, like, I can't believe they said that word. It's like, yeah, because they're not cool with it. They're just pointing out that they weren't okay. And you can't lampoon something without addressing it.
Correct.
How often do you write jokes and go, oh, it's a good joke, but I just know I can't do it?
Can I land the plane on this one? Yeah.
The negatives far outweigh the positives here.
Yeah. I mean, there's always ones that you kind of laugh, and I hate to say it, but usually you show it to other comics and they laugh and they go, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that one.
Yeah.
Just because it could be so easily misconstrued. I mean, you're going in with the best of intentions.
Yes, it can be misconstrued. I mean, there is that thing of people do go, like, you're mentioning a topic that can make people tighten up a bit.
What's that saying? Depiction does not equal endorsement, as they say.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a strange area, that one, because also there's that the situation of irony where sometimes you're saying something out of irony, but it's the people that you're lampooning who then use it to be like, oh, this is a good thing. Yeah. Like, the best example I can think of is what is the movie with Gordon Gekko? What is it, Wall Street?
Wall Street, yeah.
And that last speech of him of greed is good. Like, that's lampooning the whole idea of stockbrokers and the fact that all they care about is money and they have no morals. But yet all the stockbrokers in New York were like, this is amazing, and could quote that thing end to end. So it's not really then lampooning it anymore, and it's not ironic. They're actually enjoying what's being said.
Oh, yeah. Or people who, You had a lot of people coming up to the director of the movie of American Psycho saying, who's got a great morning routine is that Patrick Bateman.
Yeah. And so sometimes you can fall yourself in, that's the trap you can also fall into. But I mean, it happens a lot with comedy writers, I think. What finally makes the edit, I think, and I haven't been in too many writer rooms like The Simpsons, but I'm saying with stand-ups, and I know a lot of my mates are writers, the writer's room is just bare-knuckle brawling. We bring it back to a palatable level by the time something has to go to air or has to go to the stage. So sometimes when you're just around comics, it can be a bit crook.
With comedy, do you sort of stick around? Are your best mates in comedy the ones that you started out with, or do you find and make new friends along the way, or do you find you just sort of stick with your crew?
Good question.
Dando, it's the friends we make along the way. No, it's all of the above. There's mates that you start with, and then you stay friends with them, and then there's also comics that you just find. And I mean, we're a bit of like a traveling circus, because there's also a thing of you sometimes see your mates less and less the more that you gig, because you used to gig together on lineups. But then as we all get our own work and maybe become headliners and tour on your own.
Families.
Yeah, that you don't do shows together as much because they're doing their show and you're doing your show. So you maybe don't see them as much. But then when you do get to hang out, it's heaps of fun.
I was about to say something like the Melbourne International Comedy Festival must be a blast in that regard. It's like, we're all here under the same tent.
Yeah, it is heaps of fun. I mean, Adelaide Fringe, I always find, is the one where it's a fringe festival, which means for a lot of us we can say, oh yeah, if a joke doesn't work, you're like, yeah, I mean, it was art. It doesn't matter. And then a lot of us are away from home, and now when we've got families, you can kind of hang out and be like, yeah, I'm free during the day. What do you want to do? Like, you get to hang out with your mates finally, because when it is back in Melbourne where I live, you've still got kid drop off, kid pick up. You've got, just things that you got to do in everyday life. But when you're away like that, it's fun.
I was telling Guy, because I've got a kid, or two kids. One's 5. A kid.
Don't forget the other one.
2 children. Yeah, one's 7, one's 5. The 5-year-old's just started school. But I was saying, when you're a parent of young kids, no matter when you think you've got your life in check, there's always fucking something that happens to throw you off track again. You can be as organized as you want, but then something will happen. And you're just like, why, why? But you wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah,
it's a good reminder. What do they say? Man makes plans and God laughs. Like, you just go, they're always going to. And they also, it's good for me too, the things that they throw at you. Like, it was a couple of weeks ago, I was actually shooting this scripted comedy that's, I think, going to be coming out mid-year for the ABC here in Australia. And we had some friends over, but I said, I've got to learn these lines because we're shooting tomorrow. And the friend who was over, she had her sons over, and they're the same age as my daughters, or primary school age. And she was talking to her son going, yeah, because Dave learns those words because he's going to be shooting these things for TV. And she was nice enough to say, she goes, because Dave's famous. And my youngest was sitting on my lap, and she goes, no, he's not. And she goes, he hasn't been on TV in ages. Like, he hasn't done anything. And I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it.
I saw you did the P's and V's bit about your kids as well.
Yes, there's all that stuff. I mean, kids just do tend to serve up all crazy things. But, Guy, if you haven't seen it, there's all a true story, which is a daycare, and this is very Brunswick. On one day, they taught all the kids, their entire body, including the special areas, which I can't speak for you, Guy, but we never had that growing up. No one spoke about it. You got given Where Did I Come From, the book. That was it. And she comes home, and for the next 6 weeks, all she's talking about is penises and vaginas, because that's what they spoke about in the class. And she did it for 6 weeks. And I finally said to her, hey, it's fine that you know those words, but just stop. Don't do it outside of the house, okay? And then I go to pick her up the next night from daycare, and she just, across the room, just goes, Daddy, you're a penis, like straight across the room to everyone. And then this is all true. And I say it in a bit. I was never quick on my feet, but I raised my voice to act like I had some authority in the daycare. And then I said to her, hey, you can only talk about Dad's penis when we get home. And oh no, what am I doing here? And that is all word for word true. So that's the great thing with kids. They also serve up those stories.
Do you feel like your comedy has now, you're talking about The Simpsons evolving, do you think that your comedy's evolved now, like becoming a parent and things? Do you feel like your brand of humor has shifted in some way?
I mean, Dando, you could say devolved. I mean, I know there's always a slide on comedians where they go, what, are you going to talk about your kids now that you've become a father? It's like, yeah, because there's nothing.
That's life now.
What else am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's certainly changed. I mean, my family laughs because they said it's just moved downhill. Like I used to talk about when I started, my mum on stage, and then it went to my wife, and now it's down to my kids. So my mum and my wife are now like, oh, great, we dodged a bullet now. We don't get spoken about.
You get some cats soon. You'll talk about the cats.
Yeah, exactly. But actually, there was a nice thing about Rosebud because of that through line of Homer doing the roast on Monty Burns. There was, as a stand-up, and this wasn't my intention why I picked the episode, but when I'm watching it again, I was like, oh God, I've been in that situation where you've just been thrown under the bus on an intro. And then you've got to bring the comedy.
Oh man, that's one of my favorite bits. The poor dog. Quiet, you awful man.
I've done it before where you go to a fundraiser and you're like, yeah, certainly it'd be great to, like, I'll help you guys out. And then beforehand, they will talk about whatever tragic thing they're raising funds for. It's always for a very good cause, but they pull at the heartstrings. And there's some like video footage sometimes of animals who've just been mistreated. And then they're like, well, we all need a laugh now. And you're like, oh, what?
Now it's time for the comedy stylings of Dave Thornton.
Exactly. You know who told me a story recently? Because it's always corporate gigs, like some quite often comedians, you do corporate gigs. They pay quite well. You got a mortgage. You go, yeah, sure, I'll turn up to this thing. And Claire Hooper, who's a great comic, he was telling me recently she was doing a corporate gig and she said it was for more of a blue collar business. I can't really remember what it was, but as they always do, the CEO, MD, whatever, gets up on stage. He goes, all right, guys, you know, you always get a stand-up comedian at these things. And, you know, this year they said we had to have a woman. So here she is.
Jeepers.
That was the introduction for Claire Hooper. You're like, what made you think this was going to be good?
I'm sure she nailed it though, right?
Oh, it made, yeah, Claire's a great act, but it's like, God, people think, they just don't think it doesn't make a difference. They're almost like, well, you're funny, you'll be able to work through it. And you're like, not really. That's the equivalent of someone just tripping you up at the starter's block of the 100 meters and then going, what, you're fast, you can work it out.
How pivotal to the bit is the intro by the host? Like, is a pivotal part of the act, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially in those environments because people don't maybe have a touchstone of who you are. And so you kind of go, yeah, it does help. I mean, I did a thing for, I don't want to throw the person under the bus, but it was a room full of people from media. And so there was a bit of like, and they're sometimes not a great audience because like, I always have respect for anyone who hosts an awards night or anything that's got to do with TV or like music or cinema. But they're always the people that are like, yeah, whatever, I can do this.
Yeah,
like,
I could have done that better. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was doing one of those gigs and I just said to the host, because they were a bit chatty, I said, if you could just get them to be quiet, that would be amazing. I don't need a big intro. If you can just get them to settle and do everything and then it's fine. Because as a comic, you need people to listen. It's not like music. You can't listen to it in the background. You need to pay attention. And then the host then went, okay, guys, this next act, bit of a prima donna, needs you guys to shut up. And you're like, well, not exactly the greatest way to couch it. Could I not act like I'm high maintenance in the fact that I just want people to listen?
But it's all again, but with Rosebud here. So yeah, written by Swartzwelder, one of the most iconic Simpsons writers of all time. It just feels like a very Swartzwelder episode, and directed by Wes Archer. The couch gag was the family find identical versions of themselves on the couch and are confused. But the episode kicks off here with a direct shot from Citizen Kane. Now we're touching on earlier how it's a Citizen Kane parody. I still don't know how much of it is a parody. Do you want to just give us a quick little recap of how much of it is actually a parody of Citizen Kane?
Yeah, certainly that opening scene is shot for shot, but of course they throw a little gag in there with, it's this is clearly the most forbidding place in town. They got the hounds, they got the electrified fence, but you've also got free kittens. Inquire within. Yeah, the way that shot is done with the zoom, the pan up over the fence and going in the window, this palatial estate, that's very much Citizen Kane.
So the story of Kane is a kid joins family with a billionaire or something?
Well, yeah, I mean, the driving, sort of the inciting incident of Citizen Kane is this young boy is basically taken away from his poor but loving family and placed in the care of a billionaire. He's given everything he wants but love, essentially. So that's, they replay that with a bit of a twist on that. I think in Citizen Kane, not that he goes away reluctantly, but he's kind of like, I'm in sort of two minds about this, but his parents are saying, this wealthy old man can give you a much better life. He's, I don't know, I'm going to miss my parents. Mr. Burns is like, let's roll. He's just got his eyes on the prize from the get-go. And then you cut to Mr. Burns waking up, no, he's holding the globe that rolls down and breaks.
Never a break.
Never break it.
Yeah.
I think I'd forgotten about this gag that Smithers comes in and there are just broken globes all over the place. But that's certainly a shot from Citizen Kane that I think Wells was a bit full of himself doing a fancy camera angle through the broken glass and all that kind of stuff.
I really liked the transition to there where Bobo's in the snow, then it pans out from the globe, like he was inside the snow globe.
Yeah.
There. But yeah, so this is where Smithers walks in because, again, as I was touching earlier, he hasn't told Smithers about this Bobo. This is a secret that he holds dear to himself. Do you think that's a case of he's trying to forget about it, so just don't bring it up with anybody, or is he embarrassed by it?
I think it's more like he
shatters the illusion.
He views it as a sign of weakness. Yeah, that he would be reliant on anything reliant on anything for anything. You know, it's like, no, I've got no emotional needs whatsoever. I'm just about the accumulation of filthy lucre.
I just love the disdain he has for Smithers, though. The Smithers dedicates his entire life to helping him. He walks in, oh, it's you. Bedpan's under the pillow.
Great throwaway line. Disgusting throwaway line. The bedpan's under my pillow.
Also, it's under the pillow. Like, who would be under the bed and stuff it on your pillow?
Under the pillow, yeah. But Smithers asks who Bobo is, and he brings up, he says, no, it's Sheriff Lobo. They never should have cancelled that show. Then they address the plans for his birthday have begun. And we get one of the most iconic visuals of all time of I'll never get what I really want. Nobody does. And it's, happy birthday, Mr. Smithers. Mr. Burns coming out of the cake was always one of the more surreal moments for me when I was watching this as a kid. But I've always just loved how into it Burns was in Smithers' dream. Like, he wants to be bursting out of that cake. This is a present he's giving to him.
Well, you know what this is a shout out to as well.
Well, it's
Marilyn Monroe singing Happy Birthday to JFK.
Yeah.
Imagine being Jackie Onassis watching that shit. I mean, Jackie watching Marilyn Monroe just come up and do the fucking sexiest rendition of Happy Birthday to your husband, the president.
There's also a Marilyn Monroe reference later on when they have the slideshow of what Monty's
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
The 7-year itch dress blowing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hilarious stuff. And just, yeah. And again, though, I think the icing on the cake for me for that whole bit is, as you're saying earlier, Smithers, when he gets bumped from behind by Burns, it's Smithers, that's the satisfying groan of this dream. So great. But also just love how heavy they leaned into Smithers' sexuality back then. And they did at times, but it was very rarely used as the punchline. It was just, he loves his boss.
And if they were gay gags, I mean, they weren't necessarily, they weren't poking fun at Smithers. You're right. I mean, for me, the apex of that is, what is it?
Women and semen don't mix.
Women and semen don't, well, we know what you think.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. And I think the great thing is it also makes everything that Smithers does plausible, because you would go, who would put up with this?
Absolutely, yeah. Only a man in love.
Yeah, exactly.
There was always that bit in Malibu Stacy as well where it's like, hello, Smithers, you're quite good at turning me on. And he turns to Lisa, who's baffled by what she's just seen. He goes, you probably should ignore that. I think as a kid watching The Simpsons, you're like, yeah, I think I might just ignore that too. I don't know what's going on. I don't really want to know. But he says he's going to planning his birthday party. Homer, meanwhile, is having a genuine nightmare about the cancellation of Sheriff Lobo, which I thought was a great callback straight away.
Lovely segue. Yeah.
He wakes up to find out it's Mr. Burns' birthday, which means all of his employees have to do a terrible job at his party. He always gets the bad jobs. He's the piñata at a previous party.
Holding the piñata.
Yeah, holding the piñata. Then we're at work, and Burns and Smithers, they see everyone laughing at the carbon blob, as Smithers calls him, Homer, because he's got the coat hanger still in his clothes. They're stabbing him.
The one in my pants really hurts.
And Burns wants him to perform comedy at his party to harness his fractured take on modern life. And Smithers says here, I'm going to get him prepared for some Sinbad-esque material. What's your thoughts on Sinbad, the comedian? I remember him from Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, that's a very early 90s reference, Sinbad. And I don't know what the American point of view, because they were all comedians or thereabouts in the writers' room. Whether that was like they're having a little
dig at Sinbad.
Sinbad, I don't know. But
I think it's meant to be. Have you ever heard of maybe you didn't live through this. There's the Mandela effect, right? Kids in the 90s have this memory, and I have vivid memories of seeing the cover and the ad that never existed of a Sinbad movie of him as a genie, but it was played by Sinbad. I have so many memories of this. It never happened. There's a movie called Shazam with Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
And apparently for some reason, kids
Conflates
just
the two, yeah.
just crossed, they heard the name Sinbad and just assumed it was him. It's so bizarre. It's like there's like thesis written on this thing that kids of the 90s think that Sinbad was in a film where he was a genie from a magic lamp. Never happened.
Yeah, what is it that Sinbad we would have known in Australia? What did he do?
Or Jingle All the Way for me as a kid.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if you asked me to do a Sinbad bit.
Let's look up Sinbad films.
Yeah, he was in a film with Phil Hartman called House Guest.
Okay, don't know that one.
I've never seen it.
Do you know that one, Dave?
No, I'm trying to think. I swear it was a TV thing that Sinbad was in the 90s, but I don't.
Was it just called The Sinbad Show?
Apparently, he was voiced a character in the movie Planes.
I mean, he did have the hoop earrings, though. I remember that Shaquille O'Neal had in his first few years, where that same thing, the big gold earrings, and you're right, like a vest. Yeah, it's funny, Dano, that you said that, because I do agree that I felt like I'd seen him as a genie, and I could not tell you why.
Yeah.
It never happened. It's so weird. Yeah. Did you have any comedians that you did enjoy growing up? Like before you decided comedy's my thing, who were the comedians that you enjoyed as a kid?
I mean, I do hate to say this, and it hasn't aged well, but Bill Cosby. I mean, it was just
he was a huge star.
Yeah, himself is an amazing piece of. I mean, this is that argument of the artist and the art. But
absolutely.
Yeah, himself is an incredible stand-up show. That was, I think, one of the first I'd ever seen. Billy Connolly was a huge influence, especially here in Australia. I mean, he was the first person I'd ever seen that swore. My parents were like, "Nah, that's pretty good."
He was really big, wasn't he, in Australia, Connolly? Yeah.
Yeah, because remember, he would also do a lot of those. He'd travel around Australia. He'd be on a giant trike, like this motorcycle with two wheels at the back, and then he would just travel to all these little places in Australia. He was the first one to do it. In Australia in the 80s and 90s, that was huge. We never got people from overseas. I mean, people have to understand, when we have our TV awards, the Logies, it would be the eighth cast member from a really shit show that would come over and do a guest appearance, and we'd all be losing our minds.
But even before that, though, Dave, I mean, going back to the 70s, the Logies attracted some huge names. It was wild. I mean, I think there was a stage where John Wayne came over. It was like, presenting the big award at the end. I mean, and this is when, John Wayne was still John Wayne.
Oh, we got one star and we put all the budget into that.
Absolutely. Or Muhammad Ali came over only to get inadvertently racially assaulted by Bert Newton.
Bert Newton, that's right.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Bert Newton. But
it's funny how because we grew up on those classic moments from Australian television shows like Top 20 and stuff like that. And I feel like we always have like the Bert Newton and Muhammad Ali moment. There's always key moments like the Graham Kennedy saying fuck on TV and that kind of thing that we all remember. Because they just repeated those. We've got like 20 classic moments of Australian television over like 30 years.
Yeah. But you're also right, Dave, in that, as the 80s progressed and certainly into the 90s, like, we're not getting Jennifer Aniston. We'll get Matt LeBlanc. He can come over and present the Gold Logie.
Some would argue better.
I think I've remembered Matt LeBlanc being on the Logies and kind of giving this look of like, what's happened? I'm going to have to find.
Where am I?
By the end, no one's really being briefed about, this is Australian television's night of nights. Like, what the fuck am I doing here?
And it's never really changed, has it? The Logies are still the Logies. Like, it's just.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, who's the international person they bring out these days?
We like to think it's prestigious. I guess at least we have some pretty big names coming from Australia, like the Hemsworths, and who else have we got from Australia? Oh, Margot Robbie, she's another huge star.
Yeah. Did you ever attend, Dave? Did you attend the Logies at any stage?
I haven't, actually. It's been the one thing. And mind you, again, having done some corporates now of different awards in different sectors, I'm like, I think I'm good, because it is all award nights. I find it just drag on, and I've been strangely to some Logie after parties because I never went to the Logies, but then when it was in Melbourne, people would be like, just come to the after party. I was like, yeah, okay, that'd be sick. So there's a bit of that, and I think also now. I mean, Dana, you just pointed out how we've got a lot of Australians over in America and they're making a fair dent. It felt so much further away back then. Yeah. Like even if you talk about The Simpsons in '93, like America felt like it was a world away. Like it wouldn't be unusual for one of my kids' mates to go over to America and come back on holiday just randomly. When back then you're like, if anyone headed over, you're like, are you kidding me? What was it like? Like it would might as well have been Mars.
Well, friends of mine would go to America like on school holidays, and they go, I saw the Ninja Turtles movie 6 months before it's even coming out here, and you're like, fuck, how is this happening?
Well, that was exactly right, wasn't it? It was like you would get things. I mean, you talk about these Simpsons series. I'm sure they would have aired 2 years after they.
Oh yeah.
I think by the end we're about 6 to 8 months behind. I remember when the Who Shot Mr. Burns thing. I always remember this. a guy on Australian radio, I can't remember, I don't know what his name was, but he got fired because what he did was he found out who shot Mr. Burns because it was delayed here in Australia, and they were about to air the premiere of season 7, which is part 2 of Who Shot Mr. Burns, where it was the Who Done It, Can You Believe It? And this is before the internet, so most people didn't know, right? And we spent all summer working, or winter or whatever it was, trying to work out who did it. And it's sort of like this lackey guy on the radio was like, it was the baby. And you could just, it's like everyone's like, what the fuck did you just do?
Yeah, yeah, because you could do that because there wasn't any internet. The only experience I've ever had of that was Masterchef Australia, and I don't know if it's still the case, but it's pretty big in South Africa. And I did gigs in like 2010 in South Africa, and they were up to about season 3 of Masterchef. Like they were like 6 years behind. I'd never seen it before. And
so Masterchef Australia is big over there?
Is big over there. And then I'm doing these gigs, and it was weird because I did a show, and again, there's a lineup gigs, and I was on with some pretty heavy hitters, to be honest, in hindsight. I was on gigs with like Trevor Noah and Theo Von, and it was crazy.
Wow.
And we're doing this gig, and Australia had just played South Africa in a rugby union international, which, as we know from Geelong, we don't care about rugby, but South Africans love rugby, and Australia did beat South Africa. And then there's a gig on that night, and when I walked on stage, everyone started barring because the jokes that people say about New Zealanders, like that they fuck sheep. Well, they have the same jokes about us. Like it just seems to pass around the Southern Hemisphere. I don't know. And so I'm on stage and they all start barring like sheep. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I actually talk to the audience and they go, yeah, you guys are sleeping with sheep. And I was like, oh, okay, rightio. And then they're like, I'm like, are you annoyed about the rugby game? And they're like, yeah, whatever. It was like, I said, I don't even follow it. I don't even care. And they're all like, boo, boo. And I said, rightio, I'm going to let you all know who won season 3 of Masterchef. And then
we'll be good.
Well, we had Ray O'Leary on the show a few weeks back, and he was saying that when he goes to Scotland, that he has to kind of sort of just completely change his routine to an extent because a lot of his jokes land in Australia, but over there, they've got no idea what he's talking about. Do you find that when you go do gigs overseas, you got to sort of change, you might say a similar joke, but you got to sort of tweak the punchline to an extent?
No, I didn't really found it too bad. I mean, I haven't been internationally for a while now. I don't find it was too much of a trouble. I mean, obviously you take references out. There's no point in pointing out, I was crossing the Yarra River and they're like, well, yeah, I don't know what that means. But I found the funny thing is I find posting clips online is funny because it's so many times it is Americans. And I know Americans listen to this podcast where there's things like you'll do the British spelling of something and people go, that's not real. And you're like, yeah, it is. It's another way of spelling it. Like it's just, and there might be a turn of phrase that people go, I don't even know what he's trying to say. And you're like, well, I don't know, just look it up. It's okay. Like the English language does change slightly in other places.
It's like how they say caramel instead of caramel. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, aluminum.
Oh, yeah. No, what I always say about Americans is they took the A out of caramel and they put it in paraplegic. Because it's like, I don't know how many Americans I've heard use the term paraplegic. It's like, what are we even doing here?
Yeah, sorry, what? Yeah. I just do find it quite just funny. I'm like, yeah, guys, like things can be different overseas. It's okay.
But speaking of writing comedy though, so Homer's writing the roast here. Marge isn't sure about whether this is a good idea, and Lisa's like, no, it could work if you treat this roast properly. And then Homer brings up the fact that he's got a killer send-off, an impression of Mr. Burns where he draws his face on his ass and turns around and drops his pants. They're like, I'm not too sure about this. We get the newspaper here of Burns' birthday. His birthday has arrived. Credits long life to Satan for $1 billion. And then Homer's greeting, I love here. So Homer's getting ready. He's right into this. He's taken on a whole new moniker. He's got the wet hair. He's holding a golf club. He's got the jacket on. He's ready to go. And I love, so he mentions incontinent. And Lisa's like, do you even know what it means? Lisa, don't spoil my fun. So like the joke works, but he has no idea why it's funny. I just love the idea that in a scene that they've probably deleted, Homer's watching old roasts and just getting key buzzwords to say during his routine.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm guessing that the sports jacket and the golf club is probably a shout out to someone like Bob Hope.
Yeah, Bob
for
Hope.
instance, yeah. And I mean, there are so many sort of quote unquote boomer references throughout this episode that even. I'm going to count you in this day, but as young men, you and I were watching this going, I'm not 100% sure I get exactly what they mean here, but if you're in the wave of it or in the groove of it, you'll probably will find some way to look it up. Or, I mean, one thing I've always said about The Simpsons, if you're watching it with someone who knows a little bit more than you do, they kind of turn into comic book guy, or a good version of comic book guy. It's like, you know what that actually means, right? Or you know what they're referring to there.
That's me in watching the film with my wife. I feel like I have to stop it. After a while, she goes, I know, you know what it means. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do love in that scene where Bart goes, when he goes, incarnate, too rich. Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's great as well that the Simpsons men have this terrible lowbrow sense of humor, just tickled by this worst shit ever, and the women are just going, oh god.
But also,
always
too
there.
rich is like something you would say in the 50s, like, oh, too rich. Like,
Too rich.
Well, we'll get to it when we get to it, but yeah, there's a phrase that Bart uses a little later on, and I'm like, what is this? What is it? Why do this? But we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay, yeah. So Marge says,
Keys, stay tuned.
Marge says, stop being rude. Homer says the roast is an American tradition, what gives us the freedom to criticize our social betters. And then he goes outside and says Flanders smells like manure. Then everyone's entering Burns' party. We've got Mayor Quimby, Reagan, Nixon. Bush tries to enter, but no one-termers. So he gets sent to the Wolves with
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter, yes. Who does not, Bush does not want to be friends with.
That's a good yogurt place.
you want to tell me for a good yogurt place? Get away from me, you loser.
Yes. Then he introduces, this is the other bit about the Ramones bit that I love. The fact that Smithers has booked them, but has no idea who they are. Several fine young men who I'm sure are going to go far. And just blow the roof off the joint. It's actually a fucking great rendition of Happy Birthday, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that is the Ramones. What's their famous song? It is that.
Bop.
It is that tune. Yeah, Blizzkid Pop. Is that the one?
Blitzkrieg Bop. Yeah, it's very. I mean, many of the Ramones songs sound the same. They sound very similar. But yeah, just that intro.
Yeah. But anytime they kick with 1, 2, 3, boat. Yeah, sorry that. Love it. But
just go to hell, you old bastard.
But even kicking off before the 1, 2, 3 was like, I just like to say this gig sucks. I'm showing my pop culture ignorance here, by the way. I tend to have blind spots. For a very long time, I didn't realize the Ramones were actually not brothers. I was like, oh, wow, it's like the...
what are the odds?
The Ramone family have got together and, they formed a rock and roll band. Good for them. And they're, they've all taken on stage names.
So it's just a punk version of the Partridges, like the parents at left him around.
Come on,
wear
get
the leather jacket. You wear it. And you'll like it.
But yeah, just a sensational from beginning to end. Then Burns is hating on all of his presents. We mentioned the Australia with the candles before. Then Smithers informs everybody of the terribly sad news of a small puppy, not unlike Lassie, was just run over in the parking lot. Now it's time for the comedy stylings of Homer Simpson. I think Homer starting with, "Are you ready to laugh?" is just like...
Something I really dig, though, is just when Smithers is talking comedy, he's really using some of the cliches. I think we're probably big throughout the 80s and 90s, but fractured takes on modern life is wonderful. But then, please enjoy the comedy stylings of Homer Simpson. Like, imagine being introduced with like the comedy stylings of Dave Thornton. Everybody, it's like,
are there things that comedians just should not start a gig with? So, for example, "Are you ready to laugh?"
Yes, are you ready to laugh? I mean, that is a very old trope, I think, that they're also bringing up. But yeah, are you ready to laugh? Like the expectation, because we always say expectation is the worst for stand-up comedy. Don't ever say, this is the greatest stand-up comedian you've ever seen. No doubt this guy, it's like, no, don't set that expectation, because people go, oh, okay, rightio. So this is the best comedian, is it? Let's see how this goes. And especially here in Australia. And so, are you ready?
The tall poppy central of the world.
no.
Yeah. What does that woman say in the crowd? She goes,
"Quiet, you awful man."
But Homer desperately trying to think on his feet.
Yeah.
Just, how can I save the set?
But speaking of hack comedians, we were talking about South Park earlier. Like, Jimmy, what a wonderful audience. Just
I was going to name check earlier because I thought I was trying to do a comic book guy impersonation and it sounded a lot more like Jimmy. You know what I actually mean when I say this.
Are you a fan of South Park, Dave?
I do. I'm not avid. I don't watch it consistently. But it's great.
If you're going to go back and watch anybody, it's Jimmy. Watch Jimmy.
Oh, yeah?
Hilarious, yeah.
You guys are really great. You're really great.
Yeah.
What a great audience. We rescind our invitation for you to be on our South Park podcast, by the way.
But Homer, as he said here, it's a tough audience, so he goes to the big guns where he just drops his pants. And I'm Mr. Burns, blah, blah, blah. And Mr. Burns not a fan, so he says, destroy him. Party is over. We get the shot of Jim just beating the shit out of everybody who's at the party. Homer has a bump. Where did I lose him? And then he promises to never wiggle his ass in public again. But Bart says, don't worry. Please don't deny the world, you fat can. And it will be ready for someone's birthday party. Then Burns is going through his collection here. And despite having, as you were saying earlier, Arthur's Excalibur, the only existing nude photo of Mark Twain, and the initial early draft of the Constitution with the word suckers, he just wants his bear Bobo. He tries to deny it, but then this is where we get the first sort of real open. You don't really get emotional Burns all that often in the earlier seasons, but I loved Harry Shearer's acting here of just, oh God, how I want my bear. Like he just really just wants this stuffed teddy. Because this episode, for all the laughs, does have a genuine emotional story through it.
Yeah, an emotional underpinning.
We get Bobo's journey here. So he arrived in New York, 1927. Lindy takes on the spirit of St. Louis, goes to Paris, throws the bear to Hitler. and
Get some grease in your garden, Lindy.
Yeah, end of the World War. He blames the end of the war on Bobo, so he throws him away, ends back up at the North Pole. 1957, gets frozen and then collected for ice for the Quickie Mart, which we've already touched on, which is just hilarious. How many men did they lose? 4? 3?
Lost 4.
4 good men, yeah. Got to charge more than $1 a bag. But then Bart arrives to get some ice here. And he says there's a head in this one. It's chock full of heady goodness. I'm always a big fan of Apu when he tries to improvise on his feet, when he's selling a dodgy product. This one's chock full of heady goodness. What's your thoughts on the whole Apu situation? Apu no longer being on The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because you spoke earlier just about, jokes that don't work anymore, like in Demolition Man.
Yeah.
And it was funny when I started playing the episodes to the kids. And it was a scene from Homer the Heretic where Apu has to go help out with a fire. And he says to the Jimbo and the boys, he goes, don't steal anything. And they're like, oh, we won't. And then he grabs this child from behind the counter and says, little jump shot, if you can look after the store when I'm gone. And the kids are suddenly waiting for this moment and cocks a double-loaded rifle. And the guys are shocked. And I, to my kids, did the Apu thing, going and quoting it for them. And they lost their minds. They're like, this is the greatest, and kept wanting me to do it. And then we were out at a cafe and they're like, do it, Dad. You're like, no.
Do the voice, Dad.
Absolutely not. And I then stupidly, then I had to explain the situation of why not. And it's a tough one, isn't it? Because I can understand where people are coming from, but I know you've had some of the people involved in the show before about it, but they said it wasn't us lampooning him necessarily. It was, Apu is a nice character. We did it with love. But I guess it was Hank Azaria, is that right, who voiced?
Yeah, he was the voice, yeah. Yep.
And so, I don't know. As a straight white dude, I don't think I'm going to solve this puzzle.
What's that line from that South Park? We're staying out of this one.
Yeah, we're not touching this one with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, so Bart finds it, thinks it's disease, so he gives it to Maggie, and this is where Maggie gets her hands on Bobo the bear. We get the cool shot of, goes to the tag, first of all it says 100% cotton, then it's Bobo, name written on the tag.
But instantly imprints. Yeah, just love at first sight.
Yeah, Smithers then enters as a furry, dressed as Bobo the bear, tells him to tug at my fur, and Burns is not having none of it. He tells Smithers to go find his teddy. He says, leave the costume. Then Smithers is putting the face on all the milk cartons we touched on earlier as well. And Homer's watching the news report here about Bobo the bear. I think this scene was just purely there to explain why can't Homer just see that the bear's there, because he's such an oblivious idiot. Like the Brockman saying, you might be held up by a loved one right in front of your face right now. And he's like, moldy, old, I'm going to get something to eat. Then we have Frink with the robot bear who just ends up attacking Burns. Doesn't go well. Then the scene where Homer finally realizes that they have Bobo. Now, is this music? Is this from a movie? This feels like a movie parody with the music playing and the shot and the.
I was always curious about this, and my curiosity was not satisfied rewatching it for this episode. I was like, is this?
Looking through the fish tank and the music's playing and
the music feels like Enya or something like that.
It feels like it's meant to be something.
It's such a cinematic type of sequence
yes.
that you think, they've got to be referencing something here, but goodness only knows what.
But Homer, he realizes they've got the bear. They have a family meeting, and Homer says, I'm going to take him for all I can. I'm going to get my own recording studio. And the Big Mac. Can you do the Big Mac song? Did you ever used to do it when you were a kid? My mum says to me that, I know, maybe it was when you were younger, if you used to go to McDonald's and you could say it under like 3 seconds or something, they'd give you a free Big Mac. Is that true?
That was a legend, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. 2 beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed.
It sounds so stupid. And trying to explain this to anyone under the age of like 25, like, what on the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. But again, we all had the same touchstones, so we all did it.
But don't you feel like McDonald's in particular, they've really just sucked the fun out of the fast food franchises. I remember as a kid, going to McDonald's felt like you were going to a fucking play center. The seats were shaped like cheeseburgers. You had Ronald McDonald running around the joint. You had birthday parties. Now you go to McDonald's and it feels like you're fucking entering an IKEA store.
Yes. There was one in Belmont that really, it used to be, it was funny because it's not a merry-go-round, but it's one of those, it was weird because one of those, I don't know what you would call them. You sit in it and then you twirl it. You have a wheel in the middle and you would just start twirling yourselves. And it was like a little canister. You sat inside this thing, but it was funny after you'd be at a birthday party, you would have had all this fried food and then ice cream cake. And then everyone's like, let's go on that. And the amount of kids that yacked out the side of that thing was crazy.
Do you remember when the birthday parties too at Macca's when they'd take the kids on a tour of the kitchen? And you just you get like 10 kids just walking around the kitchen while these teenagers are making cheeseburgers. Did you ever have a McDonald's birthday party?
No, I did have a McDonald's birthday party. I don't remember the tours. I think, I don't remember any of that. I mean, you're right. It's not the journey it used to be. And I guess maybe it was billed as a bit of a special treat. Where now it's probably just for hungover people. And
now McDonald's is cheaper than going to the supermarket and buying your own food. So
yeah, that is.
Is it? Yeah. I don't know. You go in now. I mean, if you're not doing the drive-through, I mean, if you actually go in, it sounds like the end scene from Terminator, where she goes into that factory, and they turn all the machines on because you can just hear it from the background. Beep 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 beep. It's like, what the. Yeah. No, I don't want this quarter pounder anymore. If I know it,
you'll have to order your food at a screen, even though there's people there. I was like, "Can I just?" He's like, "No, we don't take our orders here. We just give you the food." I'm like, "What do you mean? I want to tell you what I want."
How else am I going to let you know that I don't want pickles in this burger?
Yeah. I remember I had that at Subway recently where I did that and same thing. Can you just do it on the screen? I'm like, you're sitting in front of the food, and I've got to point at it. That's actually easier than looking it up on the screen. It's right there.
You're a human being. We can talk to one another.
Old men shaking their fists at clouds. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
But basically here, so Lisa says we should just give it to him. The boys all laugh at them because as you would. And then Marge suggests we should sew the eye back on, but Bart has the idea we'll send it to him because he'll offer more. He thinks the bear's in trouble. Mm-hmm. And then Marge says, no, I'm sure he'll make a fair offer. Then we'll make him double it. I always love it when Marge gets a little moments of greed and things like that. Very unlike Marge. Then Homer shows Mr. Burns that he has Bobo. He goes to his house. And the moment you're touching on earlier, he says, I can't really give you much of a reward because I'm strapped for cash. And the place falls down. And then Homer then turns down the drink. He turns down his first offer and leaves. And Mr. Burns says it won't take him long to crack. Cuts to Homer's neck actually cracking. He tries to call him back. Maybe I can still get that drink. And the family have to stop him from calling back. Then Burns and Smithers, they arrive at the home. And Homer asks for $1 million and 3 Hawaiian islands. The good one's not the leper one. And unfortunately, it's stuck. It's because Maggie doesn't want to let it go. Now, we've both touched on how we're parents here, right? Young kids. We love our kids to death. Do anything for them. But I'm sorry, but if this bear is the difference between me being a millionaire and not being a millionaire, I'm snatching that bear out of that kid's hand and I'm giving it to the billionaire. What about you?
It's funny. I've never thought about this again until now, which is I found out my eldest had a bear that she loved. And then my partner said, yeah, she loves that bear. Is that funny? My ex gave it to me and I just never cared for it. And I said, sorry, what? And she said, yeah, my ex gave me that bear. I just let it sit there, but it's good that she's playing with it. And I'm like, no, that's your ex bear.
Why would you tell me this?
And then there was... here in Australia, there was a show called Hughesy, We Have a Problem, hosted by Dave Hughes. And then the producers are like, is there a problem? I'm like, this is a problem. And they're like, what would you do? Would you bring the bear in? I'm like, absolutely. And I decapitated the bear on air because I was like, my child does not need this. I don't want to know that my partner's ex is giving my child joy. So it's all off. And so I've done this for no money. I mean, I just did it on air because it was fun television. So for $1 million, absolutely I would rip that bear out of that child's hand.
Oh, sorry, kid. You'll thank me one day.
I mean, I love my kids, but if someone said, I'll give you $1 million for them, I'd be like, I'm just going to think about this for a second. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Yoink. Yeah.
Do you know the Simpsons created that term, yoink?
I do.
Yeah, I did not realize this.
Did they?
Yoink.
I use yoink all the time.
Yeah, yoink is a Simpsons line they made. Yeah.
Is that because I've seen Dan Castanella get interviewed where a lot of those voice guys, they're fans of old vaudeville performers, and I think they've stolen a lot of those because yoink does feel like a 1920s phrase. You know what I mean? Like someone would be on stage going, "Oh, here we are, boys. Here we are." Oh,
Next thing you know, the big cane comes out and grabs him around the neck. Yoink! Yeah.
totally.
Or something you'd see in like a comic book, like a Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Yoink!
Yes, the old Batman series. Yeah, that's true.
But this is where they say, "We don't need your money." He leaves. You made a terrible mistake, and then Grandpa smashes through the window in his car. He's hit 3 people and he's got no insurance. Then Burns and Smith, this is the moment you're touching on earlier where they try sneaking onto the roof. They gas out Flanders and then they get stuck in between. Margin offers some cocoa. Want some cocoa? Yes. Then we get the suction cups on the roof. Now, your thoughts on the 64 slices of American cheese. This is one of the most iconic moments in the history of The Simpsons. I can't quite pinpoint why I found this so funny, but I just think it's just because it's so ludicrous. And the fact that Homer... It's the one time, or one of the few times his love of food has worked in his favor because he is preventing them. He's foiling their plan to get the bear by eating all this cheese all night.
Is he doing this deliberately?
No.
Or is he sleepwalking?
No, he's sleep eating. Yeah.
He's sleep eating, you think? Okay.
Just that 2, 1. Have you been up all night eating cheese? I think I'm blind.
He's completely oblivious.
Sees it all the way through, though. Well done.
What's your idea of a perfect midnight snack, Dave?
I don't mind cheese, to be honest. So even when I was a kid, I watched that and thought, yeah, that does make sense.
Are you like the thick, like proper cheese, or are you the craft singles kind of guy though?
As a kid, singles, but now, I mean, you have cheese platters as an adult to think, oh yeah, this is adult food, but it's the same concept, is it not? You're just eating cheese.
Sitting around eating cheese.
Yeah.
Totally. Downing it with some wine and going, what kind of dreams am I going to have tonight? We'll see how this sorts itself out. But yeah, that 64 slices of American cheese is just, that lives rent-free in my head. I don't know what it is, and I don't even know if 64 slices of American cheese was a thing, like they came in packets of 64. I don't know. But I found it funny in the moment, and I still find it funny now. And even just when Burns and Smithers drop, and you hear the suckers go, good day.
Good day to you.
They're still polite about it. Then Homer's at work. Random workers are asking, they want to see the geek who valued his happiness of his children more than money. Then Smithers says, report for much worse duties, which is him being whipped whilst he's making the little donut thing spin around. Homer then offers Maggie a cardboard box. This is one of the scenes that was edited out of TV. And what I liked about this here is Maggie seems like she's keen on the box. So this could have worked. But Homer, being the idiot that he is, he was more interested in the box and he took it away from her. So he foiled his own plan here. Then Marge says they need a new hairdryer. And he says, I think you must hate me for not taking that money. She's like, no, I'm proud of you. And he pulls out the box once again. Then Maggie is watching Barney. I don't know why this sticks with me, but the 2 + 2 is 4. That's just something that sometimes I'm just walking around, I'll just hear that in my head. I'm like, why? Why do I hear that in my head? Just but Barney was such a big part of my child. I was young in the 90s, so we watched a lot of Barney.
We rag on marketing people a fair bit, but honestly, they are evil geniuses. I mean, if they came up with 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and the sesame seed bun, which I can still recite to this day, or just the simple shit that Barney was saying that nonetheless gets stuck in kids' heads and, gets them learning arithmetic, it's still pretty wild.
Yeah, and I just love that Homer's like, no wonder people like this. Like, he loves it.
And this is unfortunate where Burns starts taking over the TV, gets to the Seoul Mass Transit System aerobics show, I guess it is, the Bumblebee Man.
Seoul Mass Transit System, you know what that is.
No, I don't know what that is.
That's a riff on Soul Train.
Yeah.
You know what Soul Train is, right?
No.
Soul Train's like it was like the American version of the black American version of Countdown.
Ah.
They'd have a soul music all the time, and you would always have people dancing on it.
Okay.
I think there's old footage.
Why would I know this?
Why would you not?
Yeah, and it's funny, the mass transit system would have been like a dig of like they can't trademark, they can't use Soul Train on Soul Mass Transit System.
There we go.
I want to say there's like footage, like archival footage of like Samuel L. Jackson dancing on Soul Train or something.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I really need to Google this, but they're like, some famous star is on there just grooving in the background or something.
But Burns has taken over all 78 channels. And he says to Homer, you think you're going to be fine because you got beer? Well, unfortunately, I've diverted all beer trucks from Springfield. Really good music cue here. And he says that the rest of you beer swelling tube jockeys have a problem. Talk to Homer Simpson. And as we get the Barney moment you're touching on where he's at the door, he's got the gun, which is not a confronting visual, but you're just kind of like, oh shit, because, he's going to shoot Homer. But then he slams the door in his face, hears the gun go off, he obviously shot a woman, and that's the end of that.
Doesn't really play well at 6 p.m. on Channel 10 on a weeknight.
No. The bullies are about to beat up Bart at school because Nelson's dad can't get a beer, but that Martin interrupts him with the first snapdragon of the season. Martin's one of your favourite characters, right?
What's not to love about him?
Yeah,
he's so happy with the first snapdragon of the season.
Yeah.
You know, a little sage in your shoes, and all day your shoes will be a spicy treat.
Now we get the Smithers Burns sitcom, the classic yes moment, which is, again, as I was saying earlier, I think what I appreciate more is the Homer's reaction to it. Or watch out, Smithers! But what do you think this sitcom was called? What do you think they named the Mr. Burns and Homer? It's like a regular Odd Couple sitcom, but they seem like they get along. But what's that sitcom called, do you think?
It's called Burns Notice.
Burns Notice.
Well done. Well done.
That or Third Degree Burns.
And it's Smithers getting hurt in every episode.
Yeah, the full Monty Burns.
Yeah?
See, this is why Dave Thornton's Dave Thornton.
Yeah.
Good workshop, guys. This has been great.
But
they've got our own little writer's room here.
The angry crowd are outside. Homer thinks, look, he's come to apologise, but they're there to steal the bear. They take it from Maggie, then realise, oh, God, what have we done? Maggie's sad. So they go back in, and then they go to sing songs at the hospital.
Giving the word mob a bad name.
Yeah. Burns then comes to get Smithers to beg one more time. He's conceding, look, you've won. Homer then says, look, it's not up to me. It's Maggie's bear. Like it's not up to me to give it back to you. So he goes to see Maggie. He approaches the sandpit. Great shot here of we're seeing it from Maggie's point of view. She's looking up at Burns. He's towering over her. So she clings onto the bear, and she offers him her dummy. And we get the paparazzo take the photo of him trying the dummy. We'll get to the best paparazzo bit in a second, though. He then tries to trick her and tries to snatch the bear. He can't. Beaten by an infant. What could be more humiliating? What a scoop! What a scoop!
Damn you, paparazzo!
What a scoop! It's just one of the funniest things ever.
I was telling Dano, at the start of my writing career, I worked at Forte down here in Geelong.
You know Forte?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were just sort of covering local bands and things like that. But my fellow journalists and I would often say, "What a scoop!" Where it's like, "Hey, we've got an interview with Stephen Cummings. What a scoop!"
Do you have any quotes in your life, Dave, that you say very often that you sort of you knew they're from The Simpsons, but you might have forgotten they came from The Simpsons, and you go, "What? Oh, that's right, it's from that Simpsons episode." Like, what a scoop for me was a big one. I was like, "Oh, that's from The Simpsons."
Yes, and then also when I'm trying to think the movie. I think it was a Krusty movie or the Itchy and Scratchy movie, and they're all waiting to go to the cinema, and one of the bridges goes up like it does, like London Bridge does when a bridge, and a guy goes, "I regret nothing."
Yeah.
I say that a lot.
Oh, man. But yeah, so Mr. Burns gives up. He gets the photo taken of him. What a scoop. He says to her, look, don't make the same mistakes I did. He's conceded, look, you win. You can have the bear. And because of this, because he says, look, you can have the bear, just look after it, she says, oh, you know what? You can have your bear back. For me? Bobo? And he clings onto it. He says, I'm actually happy. Take note, Smithers. I'll only be good and kind to everyone going forward. I've got no pencil. I'm sure I'll remember it. And as we get the ending where Homer says, I'm not sure, is this a happy or a sad ending? It's an ending. That's enough. And Burns is now in bed with Bobo. He's having a dream here about the future, what the future holds for Bobo. It's 1,000,000 AD. The monkey's now in charge. Planet of the Apes reference. Homer's getting whipped. He's now the horse, I guess you could say. And then he says, and he goes, I know I say this every century, Bobo, but I'll never leave you behind again. Runs off as a robot, and Smithers is a robot dog. And that's the end of Rosebud.
Yeah, with a little bit of Planet of the Apes music over the closing credits.
Yeah, just there's so much to unpack there. I think there's jokes we skimmed over, but it just would have taken too long. But yeah, thank you for choosing Rosebud, Dave. Fantastic episode.
Absolutely.
And it's one that I, for some reason, never revisit all that often. And then I'll put this on, I went, I forgot how incredible this one was, because it always gets put into the same sort of category as like Marge versus the Monorail and whatnot when it comes to greatest episodes of all time. But as much as I enjoy Marge versus the Monorail, I feel like it's become sort of just the easy go-to for what's the best episode of all time. It's funny, but I think this one is a lot funnier than Marge versus the Monorail.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. And I'm throwing this to you two guys who would know a lot more about this than me. Do you think that last scene, I know it's a Planet of the Apes reference, but the head in the jar, is that where Futurama, the first idea? That's the first time I'd seen something like that. I don't, like a head in a jar is not Planet of the Apes, I don't think.
No, not at all. So
and that was like the gimmick. All the celebrities from now in the year 3000 were all heads in a jar. Yeah, for Futurama. Not too sure. Maybe they got that. Maybe they liked that visual. That could have been it. They thought that could work.
Yeah, put that in the
because essentially
file for later.
The show's set in the year 3000. How are we going to get current people who are alive now as guest stars, how can we have them alive in the future besides just being the whole classic they've been frozen? I think head in a jar, it's just a funny visual as well.
Correct, Anna. Well done.
Anyway, so that is Rosebud. But yeah, Dave, again, let's talk about your upcoming tour, which starts in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, guys. People go on my socials, Dave_Thorno, just on all the platforms. You'll see the links there to my brand new hour of stand-up comedy that'll be touring through all the major cities around Australia. And so it all kicks off at the start of March in Adelaide, and then we're going all the way through. So if you're listening to this and you're in a major city or near a major city here in Australia, grab some tickets, and I'll see if I can slip some Simpsons references in. I'm doing the show.
A little disappointed you didn't go full Aussie with your online handles and go Dave Thorno.
Yeah,
You're letting the side down, Dave.
I know. Well, since it is the worldwide,
Geelong is disappointed.
I can't go too. Yeah, it would be exactly that. Dave, Thorno.
_go cats.
Exactly.
How often do you come back to Geelong? I'm assuming you've got a lot of family that still live here.
Yeah, I come back.
Do you still consider Geelong home?
I only did the math recently and realised I've lived in Melbourne now for longer in my life. But I guess I've still
really. How old were you when you moved to Melbourne?
So I went overseas when I was 21, and then came back when I was 24. So it's been it's about I think 20 years.
Half your life,
and
essentially.
Geelong was fairly shit 20 years ago. I can imagine why you'd want to move out of there. I mean, it's not a great deal better now, but it's certainly better than what it was 20 years ago.
100%. I used to defend it all the time in Melbourne because people would...
That's the thing I was going to ask you. Like, do you have to constantly feel like... Do you tell people in Melbourne, I'm from Geelong? Or is it just easier not to?
No, I would tell them. I would always be proud about it. And then, this is very specific because people, and sometimes in Melbourne, when I was first heading out my 20s, they'd be like, what school did you go to? Which is that's an interesting question, but I'd go, Belmont High School. And because I'd say it so quickly, they'd go, Melbourne High. And I'm like, oh no, I went to, it's a suburban high school in Geelong. And then they're like, Geelong. And this was always my thing. When a news story comes out, it's like, a stabbing happened in Geelong. And I was like, hang on a second, I know where it happened in Geelong. There's certain areas where that absolutely happened. Yeah. And I said, when you're in a major city like Melbourne, people would go, there was a stabbing in whatever suburb. And you go, yeah, because they specifically understand that. But they would lump Geelong into one thing. And I'm like, we've also got crap suburbs, okay?
Yeah.
It's just, So yeah, of course. And it did. It has gotten a hell of a lot better. And I think because we like heading down the coast down there. So we quite often head through Geelong, and my mum's still down there, my brother, and some really good mates. So yeah, I'm always heading there.
I always put, it's not a direct correlation, but when the Cats got good, I feel like Geelong started to lift its game as a city. It's like the city itself just became a bit of a happier place to be around, I think. Because it's weird. Sports teams just have that impact on regional towns and regional cities. When that team's doing well, the city feels everyone's walking around with the spring in their step.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I always used to say when I was working for the Addy, it's like, that's the Geelong Advertiser, by the way, the local paper of record. It's like, without crime and the Cats, we're basically a pamphlet.
Yeah, it's kind of true. And through the 90s, it was strange because we would make grand finals and lose them. And it was heartbreaking because somehow becoming constantly second makes you feel somewhat worse. Like you just see, we will always, and Sleepy Hollow was this moniker that people would use and think it was, but in the 80s, and Guy, you remember this, industry was closing down. Like Ford was closing down, Shell was closing down, Pyramid closed down. And so we did cop it, and we copped it pretty hard. But
Pyramid was a big hit.
It was a big hit. And
for the town, yeah.
And then so now I always say it, I would prefer to move to Geelong than I would to the outer suburbs of Melbourne, in that it's probably going to take just as long to get into Melbourne anyway. But also we're near the coast, and it's great now.
Yeah,
you're right though. It did feel for a while when Geelong would always come second. It's like, as Homer would say, the lesson is never try. Like, what's the fucking point in trying? Like we're never going to win it. So what's the point?
Yeah, I remember doing 95. I remember I was losing to Carlton at halftime. We just went out for kick to kick with mates and then never went back. Like, why would we keep watching the rest of this game?
That's my earliest football memory. Is patron of the show, my uncle Darren, right? He's the one that got me into footy, right? I have this memory. He used to have remember Half Cat, the mascot of the Cats?
Yes.
He had a big cardboard cutout of this Half Cat. And obviously, my uncle, he'd lived through the hard years. And it was 1995. They're getting smashed by 10 goals by Carlton. My memory is of my uncle down just stabbing this cardboard cat to a million pieces. Like, he'd had enough. That's my earliest football memory as a Geelong fan, just stabbing the mascot to death.
Well, it was also a time when the football players didn't even want to live in Geelong. Like, there were stories of John Barnes who'd go, I'll come down to training and then I'll head back up the highway. Why would I live there? Yeah. So it was always that. And then you're right, we start winning. I mean, when we lost the grand final last year, I couldn't get tickets, luckily, in hindsight. And I was with watching it with all friends who were all going for Brisbane because they just hated our success. And then they hated me even more when at the end of it I was like, well, I mean, that's another grand final loss, but I've now seen, I think, 7 and we've won 3 or 4. And they're like, shut up.
Yeah. No, we won it a couple of years ago. We're fine.
I know. And so you're right. You kind of get up and about. So
before we let you go, though, we do ask everybody this question. So it's 1998. Channel 10 have asked you to put together a Friday night Simpsons marathon consisting of 5 episodes. Which episodes are you choosing and why? And which one are you beginning with?
Oh, I'm beginning with, this might be recency bias because I did watch this with the kids, but the episode I Love Lisa with Ralph Wiggum. And I love it because there's so many quotes from it that I just, you choose me and all that kind of stuff. But also it's the one with the Krusty's 29th anniversary special. And I still quote that thing when he goes, who could remember Sideshow Raheem? And he's next to this militant Black Panther African-American guy and Krusty in the 70s. And Krusty goes, the script said I should hit you over the head with this hammer. And he says, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Right on. And it cuts back to him in the audience and he goes, angry young man. That has stuck in my head for so long. And I just...
Is that...
That's the, oh, God, this is always death.
Yeah, I was about to say, my favorite. Talk to the audience. Oh, God, this is always death.
And it's always Steve Wiggum. Like, Steve Wiggum's just an idiot through the whole thing, which he is. But, like, it really... It was the first I remember him really being a feature and being an imbecile. Like they're driving to the to Krusty's show, and she goes, "How did you get the tickets? Do you know Krusty?" He goes, "He knows how to play ball." And they're at an actual porno film cinema.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh God, is this a bus?" And he goes, yeah, sure." And he has no idea what's happening.
I think Lisa says,
nothing gets chocolate out. Look at this.
Lisa says, "That's not suitable for children." Oh, really? I keep my pants on in this version.
Exactly. So that's...
So you're starting with I Love Lisa.
I Love Lisa will be the first one. Then I would go with Flaming Mo. I do love the Flaming Mo episode. It's all about Mo Sizlak, which, I mean, is Mo Sizlak, I've heard this, he's based off a stand-up comedian. What is his name? He's an American guy, and I've done gigs with him.
Oh, wow.
Mo is?
Mo, yeah, because I think Hank Azaria, I'm trying to look it up now. The real-life inspiration, Hank Azaria said it was Rich Hall.
So what was the third episode that you would put on?
The third would be Homer's Barbershop Quartet.
Are you a Beatles fan?
I'm not. I've actually gotten into them in the last year. I picked up a book about John and Paul and then was like, geez, these guys really are good. And then started listening to them more on Spotify and things like that. I wasn't growing up. But I always liked the Barbershop Quartet. Just the references, and I mean, Barney having his Yoko Ono, and I'm moving her to new and experimental places. Number 8, like that's something that lives in my head.
What did you ask for? A plum in a pool of perfume served in a man's hat.
And Mo goes, there you go.
Mo's just got, I got it.
A single plum floating served in a man's hat. Yeah. That's right. But what's the one where it's a poo changes his name? No,
that's it. Yeah.
But you're like Homer.
Never play on a marquee. Your name is now Homer. Your name is now a poo de Beaumarchais. So disrespectful to my culture. My God. But yeah, all right.
But what's the? It's Homer says his name. Like Homer and you always say it's the band name that you love.
The Beach.
Oh no! We're going to be Is it the Mo Sizlak Experience featuring Homer? Oh. Anytime you've got anything featuring someone, I think it's just a great gag. But the Mo Sizlak Experience featuring Homer.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, as a Beatles fan, I mean, I wasn't a Beatles fan when I was younger. I'm a big Beatles fan now, but the older I got, the more I appreciated the episode because I understood all the extra gags. But the episode, again, though, you can enjoy it not being a Beatles fan. That's what's so great about it. And George Harrison has a fantastic guest appearance in it.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, what a nice fella.
It was really, it's when it got, I mean this in a nice way. It's when the show got really bonkers. Like the storylines weren't just about these family things. It was like when it really got like, wow, what are we doing now? And yeah, I love that episode. I think the next one would be Deep Space Homer.
Oh.
In Rod We Trust. Yes, that would be incredible. I don't know.
That one is so great. You think the idea of you talking about the show going wacky. By this point, Homer's literally going to space. You know.
Yes.
But they still do it in a way that you buy it.
Mate, when he's on the phone to Marge and he's like the time I wanted to go see Mr. T down at the mall.
Oh my God.
I got a little longer.
I'll go a little longer.
And then he said, I won't let that happen. I can't let that happen and I won't let that happen.
I learned from that. I'm thinking sometimes there's things and I go, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm like, you know what? Homer missed out on seeing Mr. T. I'm not going to let that happen.
There are two bits that I really, really love about it. They're probably up there with my favourite Simpsons moments is when he's at the press conference saying, I don't care where we go as long as you don't go to that terrible Planet of the Apes. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I won't ruin the rest of it. But
wait a minute.
Remember, he goes, wait a minute. Humans. Wait a minute, that was our planet.
It was our planet. You maniacs.
It just does the bull child nest.
It's like in that moment, but he realizes that that's us.
Yeah, and then the guy's like, this is over. The curtain comes down. Barney burps. He passes out drunk.
Yeah.
Just like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Statue of Liberty. It was our planet. But also the James Taylor supporting appearance. Right?
So good. And when Barney...
With all due respect, Mr. Taylor, this isn't the time for your unique blend of, what is it, laid back folk rock.
When Barney obviously trains and he's like unbelievable. He looks incredible.
Oh,
and I go, let's celebrate. And then as soon as he drinks, the morphing into him, it's happening again. I don't understand it. That was non-alcoholic wine.
Yeah,
oh,
good call.
I think my favorite bit is the second comes right after first.
Careful, they're ruffled.
All right, and what would be your final episode for your marathon?
Homer the Heretic. Now, I mentioned it before with the Apu quotes that my children want me to say out in public, but that one, I think it's just the religious undertones. I think they tackle it so well, and I just find it a very funny episode, just with so many quotables in it. I mean, even Reverend Lovejoy at the end when he says, see, all religions can help out, and he points out who's helped out, and he goes, be it Christian, Jew, or miscellaneous. Yes. And Apu goes, Hindu, there are 700 million of us. And Lovejoy goes, that's super. So condescending.
But also just the story of that one too. You know, when you're married with kids, just the idea of getting a Sunday morning to yourself at home to fucking watch what you want, eat what you want, just chill out. It sounds like heaven, right?
Yes. And I think also, again, with my age, my grandmother was Catholic. She was a lovely lady, and she would go to church somewhat consistently. And then when she passed away, when I was about 11 or 12, again, when I started The Simpsons, it was like, we're all kind of like, are we still doing this? And so there was this thing of like, church was a thing. And even my mum was like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll go, maybe we won't. So it was always, you're trying to weasel out of it. And I completely got where he's coming from. Because Sunday mornings, now it's the one morning in our family life where we're like, no, we're not moving quick. We're not doing stuff. It's going to be fun. The thought of getting dressed up to go to a place that is possibly the most boring of your week is, you do anything to get out of it.
You know, Dave, they have services in the afternoon.
Yeah, you're right. But I just like being an even guy.
Sorry, I was raised Catholic as well. It's hard to shake that shit.
It really is. Because, I mean, Australia's fairly secular, I think, in this day and age. I mean, people go to church, that is fine. But I think back then it really was a thing of like, you could see it all slipping from everyone's fingers. Like, are we still doing this?
Absolutely.
All right, well, that just about wraps up our chat here, reviewing Rosebud. Thank you so much, Dave, for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Dave.
Guys, look at this. I mean, Detroit came together for this one.
I know, right?
Seattle on the Barwin represent.
Exactly. Thanks so much, guys.
And thank you and all the best for your tour in 2026.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.